Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hope everyone's doing pretty good. Hope everyone's really in the moment. I'm really in the moment right now, as you can see. And it feels really good. This is one of the joys of life, being in the moment and nowhere else. And yeah, it just makes you appreciate everything a whole lot more. Okay, so I'm starting my day. It's about 7:30. I'm about to get out after this ice bath and I guess get into nature a little bit. Maybe take a walk and do some thinking before I complete the rest of my day. And right now, the season it's 2017, late October. Halloween's coming. The leaves are just starting to fall off of the sky, so the season's changing. And at this point, I start reducing the time for my ice baths. Like typically, like in the summer, I do about 45 minutes. That's what I've deemed to be like the ideal amount of time to get the benefits that I want from doing ice baths. But it's becoming fall, so I've reduced my time by about 1/4. So I'm doing about 35 minutes now. My sessions are about 35 minutes, and I'll probably continue to do so until for another month, until close to December, because at that point it'll be like ridiculously cold here. It'll be ice and snow. It'll be ice and stuff on the ground. Snow won't come later until like January here. And in that case, I could just go outside and, take my clothes off and go outside, which I will. I will still continue to get suntans and stuff, suntans, and expose myself expose my naked skin to the sun, even when it's freezing cold outside. And right now, I'm trying to build my adaptation to be able to do that comfortably. And that's one reason why I do my ice baths, is so that I can connect back to nature and be natural and be comfortable in nature. Because when we do that, that's one thing that makes us the best us possible. It takes us back to our design. One of the best exercises that you can do is connect yourself back to nature. Just being in nature, whether it be freezing cold or whether it be scorching sunshine, being connected to nature with your clothes off and being able to deal with that and handle it really well. This will dramatically increase your thinking, your athletic performance, and your well-being. So, like, a lot of people get caught up in like all this, health crazes and stuff like this. I guess you can call this a health craze, like connecting with nature. But in my humble opinion, by far, it is the one that we should focus on. It's the one that works. It's the one that's the most rewarding. It gives us so much back that we've taken from ourselves, from our beliefs and our culture and what we've been taught all through our lives. So yeah, so this video, I'm going to focus on time, like how much time is good when we do cold adaptations or ice baths. I just explained to you like the seasons changing, and I reduce the times of my ice baths because it's cold outside. And again, also, if you get the opportunity, jump in the ocean or jump in a river. Do that number one. But if you can't do that, then you can do this. So on the weekends, if I go to the beach, even if it's freezing cold, I'm going to get in because that's an opportunity to get some training in. And the beach or the ocean is the ideal place because you're grounded. You get the effect of grounding. and you get the effect of cold adaptation. You're in the water, the pressure from the water that offers other benefits as well. It's a total package as far as all the health benefits that it can bring to you actually being in the ocean. And yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna focus and talk about time, like how much time we should use for this. And yeah, like after the winter and the spring comes back around, when spring comes, at this time I start my ice baths back. And I'll probably start at about 30 minutes, and then when spring fully kicks in, I guess around March, then I go back to my 45 minutes. And when summer comes, I pretty much stick with my 45 minutes unless I got something special going on. I want to make some type of changes within me. But 45 minutes has been my standard for warm season, and about 30 minutes is my standard for when it gets cooler. That's what works for me. That's what works for me. So that's what I've done. And other things that affect time. When you do this, two things that affect time. All right, when you're doing your ice baths, especially if you're a beginner, you want to not do this on an empty stomach. You want to do this on a full stomach, especially if you're trying to fat burn. And if you're trying to fat burn, you want to do this. Actually, anybody, I recommend you do this on a full stomach. Lots of fat in your diet. And when I say fat, I'm talking about healthy fats. And I'll do, I guess, a future video on that and talk about incorporating fats in your diet to lose weight and for the benefits and health that they get. And I'll talk about fat adaptation and stuff like this, because it all kind of ties in. But you want to do this. You want to eat a big heavy. You want to eat your big meal before this. It'll provide you with the heat. It'll provide you with the warmth, and it'll help you get through your session. And it'll help you get through your session. So that's one thing you want to do. You want to eat a pretty big meal before this, preferably a fatty meal. It'll help you with your tolerance, especially if you're a beginner. Me now, I no longer, like, I woke up this morning, I get straight in. I do it in a fasted state. I can do that now because I built that adaptation. In the beginning, I could not do it, but now I can. Another thing that, oh yeah, and like what that does, it simulates nature. It simulates nature because in a natural situation, if you live, if it's an extremely cold season, or if you live in a place that's very cold, like the Arctic or something like that, nothing really grows. So your diet pretty much has to be fatty. Your diet has to be fatty. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to simulate nature. You're trying to get nature back. And that's why this helps you. That's why it's so beneficial, because you're basically you're giving yourself back that nature that you didn't allow yourself to get before. So, that's, kind of how this helps you. It's basically connecting back to nature. And this is a bridge. This is not nature, of course, but it's a bridge to get you back out there. And, always keep in mind, this is your bridge. This is what will help you get back to the real thing. Your goal should always be to get back to the real thing as much as you can, as much as you're willing to get back to. And another thing that affects your adaptation is alcohol. With alcohol, I recommend not drinking at the same time when you're doing this, or drinking even close to the same time that you're doing this, because it can get really dangerous. like your body's ability to sense how cold it's getting is affected by alcohol. So you don't want to interfere with that, because you want your body and your brain and everything being able to deal with cold regulation as best as it can. You don't want to deal with that because it can get dangerous and you can really hurt yourself. So alcohol, you want to avoid it around the times you're doing your ice baths. My suggestion: wait about 24 hours to do this after you stop drinking. And like if you drank too much or you kind of overdid it, this is one way to help you detox. And you'll notice, well, I've noticed that after I've drank and then I did my ice baths, my tolerance was significantly reduced. I was doing maybe a quarter. I could do like a quarter less. Like I'll go from my typical 45-minute session, I would have to take it down to about 30 or 35 because I couldn't really do more. I would get extremely cold, and it was really, really difficult to do. So remember, alcohol has quite an effect on cold adaptation. So you want to be careful with that. And what else with time with doing ice baths? Oh yeah, when I first started doing ice baths about 4 years ago, I experimented with a lot of different times. Like when I say a lot of different times, I experimented with I guess long sessions of doing ice baths. And at this time, I had my blood sugar was I guess getting kind of high, and it wasn't really going down. And at that point, I had learned about ketogenic diets. I had incorporated them successfully, and it was helping me. And I also incorporated the ice baths. Now I was doing up to like an hour, 45-minute sessions sometimes. I did this a couple times. And of course I did this during the summer. And yeah, I did this a couple times. And it was really, really kind of dangerous. I did it maybe 3 times. And of those 3 times, when I would do it, it would really push me to the limit. I approach like borderline, I guess, hypothermia, because when I remember getting out, and luckily I did it during the summer because I got out, I went outside, I laid outside, and like my mind was not really working. It felt like I'm a former fighter. I'm a former professional fighter, so it was equivalent to like taking a head blow. Like that's how I felt. So it really kind of concerned me. Like I no longer fight anymore, and I no longer want to take any head blows. And even when I did fight, I didn't take any head blows. I avoided that. So that really worried me. Like the possibility of getting hypothermia concerned me. So after doing a few sessions like that, even though it dramatically dropped like lots of weight in that one session, like let's say if I did the 1 hour and 45-minute session, probably about after like 1 hour, I would have to pee, and you pee a lot. It makes you pee a lot. And then I would get right back in after I pee. And then another 30 minutes, you have to get back out to pee again, because it really makes you pee for whatever reason. And I'll learn about that, and I'll talk about it in future videos where I talk about like what it does to you and the physiological effects that it has on your body. I also talk about long-term effects that it has in your body, and just basically break down some more of the science concerning the use of this, and like what it can do to you. And yeah, so what was my topic? Yeah, long adaptation. I was doing about an hour 45 minutes, and it was kind of dangerous. So you want to really be careful on your times, how much time you spend. Like You know, you don't want to push it too much. You want to just, I guess a good rule of thumb is like, if you shake, shaking is good, but once your shaking stops, you've stayed in too long. If you're in the water and you start to shake, like right now, I got a little shake going on. So really, it's about time for me to get out. So that's a good rule of thumb. Like, okay, like when you do this, for me now, since I'm kind of have an adaptation going for myself. Like for me, when I get in, it's like, oh, cold water, and then I feel a deep comfort after about 5 to 10 minutes, and then everything is just, you know, really relaxing for like the next 20 minutes. After that, like I'll start to like tremble and shake. You can probably hear it in my voice now. I probably have like a little shaky voice, and that's because I'm shaking. It's my body trying to create heat to keep itself warm. And in the beginning, my shaking was really, I would really shake, but which I probably will start really shaking if I stay in much longer now. But when if you get to the point where you stop shaking, it's getting dangerous. You really want to get out and maybe get warm. So those are some things you could use to, I guess, tell you like how safe what you're doing is at that moment. And I guess I'll make some more future videos because there's a lot I didn't cover about safety and stuff. But I guess a good rule of thumb is, you know, a little shake is good. A lot of shake, you know, no. You want to get out. And what else? Okay, I'll stop here. Thank you so much for checking out my video. As usual, as always, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you. I love you, and stay tuned because there's more coming. I'm really passionate about, you know, talking about this stuff and learning about this stuff, and I want to share my journey with you, and I want you to share your journey with me. So you know what to do. You know, drop comments. You like my channel, subscribe. You like my video, you know, click the button. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, noon, evening, whatever. And stay in the moment.